Now, first off, welcome everybody to the Contextual Christian Church Bible study, where we're starting off at First Samuel chapter 17, verse 28. Again, that's First Samuel chapter 17, verse 28. And go ahead and bow your heads and I'll pray us in. Father, thank you for this time that you've given us to be able to study your word. Thank you for every second now promised. And I pray as we go forward in understanding your word, we're able to understand the context, we're able to receive everything that you have for us, and that it will impact our life on a major level. In your son's holy and precious name, Jesus Christ Yeshua. All right, now go ahead, Charles, and I'm going to mute myself.
Amen. All right, so we read from First Samuel chapter 17. We started at verse 12 and we went all the way to 28. Let me remember some of the things we talked about. Now, Yemi, we're reading the story of David and Goliath right now. We're in that part. We're not at the part yet where David fights Goliath, but we're just at the part where David is mentioned. He is the king at the moment. There's a king named Saul for the children of Israel at the moment. Saul, the king, made David an armor bearer, someone to hold his armor and hold his weapons. So at this point in time, David's being described as a very strong and a strong and handsome man, a warrior as well. But when we read, we're reading David. He was chosen to be, the Lord had chose him to be the next king, next up after Saul. He's the youngest of his brethren, of his brothers. And the Philistines and the children of Israel are at war right now. And so with this little situation they got going on with the war, David has a dad named Jesse. Jesse told David, when you get up, I need you to take these things to the camp where there are going to be captains there, captains that lead soldiers, captains that lead warriors for the war. Take this, it was corn, bread loaves, it was cheese, take these things to the camp. So when David got up the next day, took all that stuff there. The children of Israel fighting the Philistines, and David gets there with the supplies. And what does he do next?
Did you explain about how everybody around was feeling in the situation?
Everybody around was in what?
How they were responding to Goliath, how their mentality was. That's important for what's coming up.
Oh yeah, let me bring that up because that was a study before the other one. So Goliath, it was when we read Goliath, he's 9 feet tall, he's strong, he has all these heavy armor and weapon. He's called out the children of Israel to let them know, I need a champion to fight against me. And if the champion beats me, we're your servants. The Philistines are the servants to the children of Israel. But if I beat your champion, the children of Israel will be servants to the Philistines. And the children of Israel, including the king Saul that I brought up, are terrified of this guy. They are scared. They are terrified of this guy. And going back to what we had read, now David in this camp, he's calling out the champion. He's calling it out to let it be known that you went against the children of Israel, who the Lord is covering. You're going against the soldiers of the Lord. Who are you? Who is this person that thinks he can call out God's chosen people, God's soldiers? The children of Israel looking at him like, who? What? You're gonna call him out? Okay, fine. Whoever goes out and kills this great Goliath, the giant, the Philistine, this great champion, you will have, what did they say that you can have when you kill him? And David called them out and said, it doesn't matter.
I wouldn't say call them out. I would just say respond. Because calling out means he's telling them they're in the wrong. So he didn't really say they're in the wrong. He just, it's like, bro, I ain't worried about that.
Yeah, he's okay. So yeah, he just responded. It was he was gonna have riches. He was gonna have um a daughter, or the king's daughter. He was gonna have all these things, but
Yep.
he responded and let it be known, like, hey, that's not what. So what? I want the Philistine.
Okay.
Good.
Because of I want the Philistine because I have faith that the Lord is gonna, the Lord's gonna deliver him to me. Because right now, David is showing his faith in the Lord that he's gonna overcome and beat Goliath. When everyone else is showing fear and they're afraid and this, that, and the third, he's showing the faith that he has in the Lord that he can beat Goliath.
All right. Go ahead. Good. Other than that. So now, go ahead, Yemi, and go ahead and read the first portion.
All right. Chapter 17, 28, verse 28. Now Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spoke to the men, and Eliab's anger was kindly against David, and he
It was
said,
kindled.
kindle against David, and he said, why have you come down? And with whom you have left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your presumption and the evil of your heart, for you have come down to see the battle. And David said, what have I done now? Was it not but a word? And he turned away from his toward another. And he turned away from his toward another, and spoke in the same way. And the people answered him again as before. When the words that David spoke were heard, they repeated them before Saul. And he sent for him. And David said to Saul, let no man heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight with the Philistine. And Saul said to David,
That's good.
Okay.
Hey, Yemi,
Remember,
I just noticed.
I
was gonna say
Go
real
ahead,
quick,
Charles.
Matt. I was gonna say real quick. Yemi, are you reading the King James version or a different version of the Bible?
I'm not quite sure. I put this one on Bible Reef.
Oh,
Bible
okay.
Ref.
Okay.
Should I go back and find another version?
I would read King James Version, make sure it says KJV, because it reads differently and it makes a difference on your ability to follow along, as well as the other versions, depending on the version, can completely change the context and were manipulated for people's point of view instead of just what the Bible says.
Say no more. Say no more. I think I got it here.
In this particular section, it didn't change anything of the meaning.
Right.
Okay.
But there are times like in the newer version, they changed Jesus's race from Middle Eastern to black to African.
Let
in
me
the
see
original, it says it. You said
I
what?
found Bible Gateway.
That one's not bad. And just make sure it says KJV where it says the type.
I'm sorry.
Or King James version.
King James?
Yeah,
this is King James version. Yes, King James versions.
Okay, all right, cool.
You want me to read that?
No, because what you read meant the same as what it meant here. It didn't make any mistakes this time.
All right.
But so go ahead and explain what you read to the best of your ability, and we'll add the corrections as necessary. By the way, I am able to be on and do a regular because of the fact they're doing in the middle of a shift change, so I got to wait till 6 o'clock to get my paperwork anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so Eliab pretty much is expressing himself to his older brother, giving him faith, but he was talking like out of anger a little bit, because he was against David. Eliab, his anger, kindly against David. So he was just pretty much, letting these people know that it was battle time. That it was what? They were going to see the battle.
No, not bottle, battle.
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you confused me. Did you mean battle and it was just the accent?
No, it's just I guess, yeah.
Okay,
Battle.
yeah. So, all right.
So
So,
these people are going
you
to
understand?
battle.
So, do you understand what he's saying when he's saying that, or what he's trying to do?
Right. So he's talking to his eldest brother, letting him know that, you know, we're gonna go fight. Like, this is you about to see this action.
Yep. And then but in verse 28, his elder brother responded. But what is his elder brother trying to say or do by what he said? What do you think his purpose is by saying what he said?
That you know that about the ships in the wilderness, that there was a lot of pride. They had a lot of pride in their hearts.
Not they. Remember, it's one person talking to one person.
Right.
So you did pretty good. That was pretty good. Not bad for not being on for a little while. I would switch it up a little bit. I'll give you this time. I'll give you what it actually means.
All right.
So starting off, Eliab is trying to accuse David of coming down here because he's arrogant, or he's trying to claim that he's arrogant. So he's saying, like, David, why'd you even come here? Just because, and who did you leave the sheep that we had with in the wilderness? You just up and left the sheep back then, and then you come out here? Why are you here? You know what? I know why you here. It's because you prideful. Because you're arrogant. I know the problems in your heart, and you came here so you might be able to see the battle. Now, this is very important that you wouldn't know this part. David didn't come down here to see the battle. David was busy tending to the sheep, and his father asked him to go see the battle.
Yeah,
which is
I brought
very
that up I brought that up in the summer.
Oh, okay, good. So, David's dad asked him to come down here to check on it. So Eliab, which in reality, it's Eliab who is the coward here. But instead of being honest about his cowardice, he's sitting here trying to claim that David is the one in the wrong, showing again that there's nothing new under the sun. Here we have a man who is unwilling to fight. So then when there is someone who comes up who's willing to fight, they're trying to tear him down. David, they're trying to tear down David. It's just showing the hypocrisy. And it shows how even back then, it's nothing new. People who are in the wrong will always try to say that you're in the wrong 9 times out of 10, or 99.999% of the time. That be way before they would ever admit that they were the one that's the actual problem. So, like, this just happened recently, and I'm not going to bring up who it is because the situation's done and over with, but I will bring up the back to the situation. There was a person who's sitting here, wouldn't admit their fault. And then, instead of admitting their fault, they tried to lie about me and say I did something wrong. So again, showing there's nothing new under the sun. This is all happening again and again. People don't change their character overall. Here, David is trying to stand there and say now, and then we see David's response at 29. What have I done? Is there not a cause? In other words, don't we have a good enough reason to be speaking about this? I ain't doing nothing wrong. And then he goes, and everyone turned from him toward themselves, and they started talking amongst themselves. And then the people asked him, just like they said previously. And they said, just like they did before, And then David responded and told them before Saul and for the people who sent for him. And David said to Saul, don't let anybody's heart fail. So in other words, don't worry about this dude. Talking about the Philistine. Don't worry about him, because I'll go and I'll fight him. All right, go ahead, Jimmy. Jimmy, you raised your hand. You gotta unmute your hand.
Going back on verse 28, what you just explained right now, it's also talking about describing these people, not just how they were, but also the amount of pride that they had.
Yeah. It's ironic. He's being cowardice about his willingness to fight the Philistine, but he's also prideful about his self-image. He doesn't want people to see him as a coward. So instead of being honest, he's trying to call out David falsely with a lie. Good, yeah. Now let me change it to the next section. And since I am able to speak, Charles, I'll read the second section and read the last.
You got it.
All right. And now in verse 33, and Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and smote him, and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing as he hath defiled the armies of the living God. David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of the Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be with thee. So here Saul is talking to David, and he's like, bro, like, what you finna go over there and do? You still a kid yourself. Not a literal kid, but metaphorically in age being young. You still a kid yourself. What you finna do? And he's like, so he responds to Saul, and he tells him, bro, you don't understand. Like, I was a keeper of the sheep. I was a shepherd. I don't think you understand what it comes with. There was a lion and there was a bear that came up and took one of the lambs at some point. And bro, I had to kill the lion, and I had to take the lion, and I had to take the bear out. And originally, I was just trying to get the lamb back, but then they tried to fight me. So I had to kill both of them. You think this Philistine is going to be any different? I'm sitting there dealing with lions and bears. I ain't worried about that. Plus, do you not understand who's in control here? I serve the God of the Lord. I serve the Lord of all heaven, all earth. I serve God of everything. The armies of the living God. Said, just like he took care of me and delivered me from the paw, from the lion, and from the bear, so he's going to take care of me against the Philistine. In other words, what David is saying, ain't nobody worried about this Philistine if we understand who God is. God's already shown me what he could do. And that's a lesson for us before we go into the last part. Two-part lesson. One, just because someone is a supposed man of God, as Saul was considered at the time, does not mean they truly follow, or even in the smallest inkling or smallest part, have any true faith in God. Why would you fear a man or a circumstance in our own lives or enemies if you believe in God who created the entire universe? If you have doubt, if you have distrust, then you either are lying about the amount of faith you have to yourself and to others, or you don't have faith and haven't truly trusted in the God you believe in. You just say you did. Faith requires more than just believing. It requires acting on that belief. And then secondly, not just about men of God not having faith, is the second part is, why are you worried about anything in life? If it's in God's will, it's going to work out as long as you work towards it. And if it doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to be. So when you go into the lion's den, so to speak, when you deal with enemies, even if it's a 9-foot tall giant, don't worry. Don't stress. Don't sit here and doubt what God is capable of. Remember, He created the entire universe, all of Earth, all of your family, all of the enemies, everybody were in His control. So if God is really with us, which He requires we do our best to follow Him for it to be that way, if God is really with us, then who could possibly come against us? All right. Now we'll go into the final section. And go ahead, Charles.
All right. Verse 38. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put an helmet of brass upon his head. Also, he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I can't go with these. I can't go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off him. And he took his staff in his hand and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook and put them in a shepherd's bag, which he had, even in a scrip. Scrip. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine.
I'm sorry about that. Because of this pickup and stuff, I didn't have time to fully get the context separated in this.
No.
Today's
it's all good. Like I told you, it's all good because when it happens like this, the last reader, which is me, I'm supposed to this is good practice to figure out where to stop. The only reason why I think we should stop here and start back at 41 is because the only thing we have changing is the who, because this is after Saul and David, so the Philistine is now about to approach him and start talking, so the who's changing, and the what. The other ones aren't changing, so the what would be what the Goliath is about to say and do, how he's about to talk to David, but the where hasn't changed, the why hasn't changed. I already forgot the W's. The what, who, what, where, which hasn't changed. The why hasn't changed. When
no, you're
hasn't
right.
changed. When hasn't.
You're right.
I almost did how. I don't know why I keep thinking of how, man. You told me because of what they teach in school. I almost used the how.
They say the 5 W's, and they say who, what, when, where, why, and how.
I keep going back to the how. I know I keep going back, but no, this is a good spot. So just 38, 39, and 40. That we should. I'm gonna do my explanation, but yeah, that's a good place for us to stop for today.
You could either stop there, or you could stop after 41. 40 after 40 too. Also. That's what I'm saying, like just before 42. So, because at 41, it's saying the same thing as in 40. They're drawing near to each other. And then 42, the situation, the what changes. You see what I'm saying? So you can either stop at where you stopped, which is fine, or you can stop after 41. Go ahead, Yemi.
Oh,
So we're gonna like this at verse 41 or 40.
We're going to lock it at 40 because 40 is fine.
All right.
It doesn't matter if we stop at 40 or 41. This
I'm gonna go
section
ahead. I'm gonna
continues-
study this a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. This section that we're reading, the pause point, whether it's 40 or 41, they're both just David and the Philistine drawing near each other. So in 42, it literally now it goes into where they start like looking each other down. But as you go even to verse Samuel to verse 45, you could stop there too, but now you have a lot that's changed from 41 to 42. So whether it's in 40 or after 41, both of them end the same way. And after 41, it's just a long thing where it's continuing. It's the stare down, so to speak, and we're going to get into further. I don't want to explain too much because this is the exciting time. By the way, I'm reading first tomorrow.
all right. But I'm gonna go ahead and explain 38, 39, and 40. So it's just simple. With Saul, he's gonna, Saul, the king of Israel that I talked about. Now he's gonna armor up David, give him the armor and give him a weapon. But David's looking at him like, nah, I haven't even proven myself with this stuff. I got my own. Well, this is the part that I've been waiting for. Matt's gonna laugh. This is what I've been waiting for. David's choice of weapon was a staff, the sling, which it's. I'd have to do a Google image of it, but Yemi, you ever see a movie or TV show where somebody puts something in a rock and they spin it above their head, and then they flip it a certain kind of way, and that rock flies, and it can hit or hurt, but me and Matt talked about it can kill too. But you ever seen somebody do that on a TV show or on a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's David's choice of weapon, was that sling that I'm talking about,
Yeah,
five
well,
smooth
we seen
rocks
it in
and a staff.
we kind of seen it in the Olympics.
Oh, I forgot about the Olympics. For all those that are watching the video or listening to this, think about that in the Olympics when I forgot which one, winter, summer, I don't remember which one, but yeah, they do it in the Olympics. They, sling it over their head and they aim at something and they hit a target. Me and Matt talked about this either a month ago or weeks ago, where there was a group of children of Israel specifically that were good at this. So good. They had like sniper ability. So yeah, this is funny that David chooses this as his weapon. He could have went with the sword and the armor, but this is what I've been waiting for. I want to see what he does with these 5 smooth stones.
Exactly.
So I can laugh at death.
And I'll send you a video of what it is, because when you see how the shepherd sling would actually go to rock and how powerful it is, you'll be sitting here like, okay, now I understand why he died. Because when we think about a sling, we're thinking of like a sack or something. We're thinking like this small little thing. Well,
Yeah.
so you're like, well, it ain't gonna have no power at all. Like it hit him in the head and he died. No. You don't understand the power behind. I was trying not to say it like He-Man. The power. You don't understand the power behind the sling. Yemi, I'm gonna send you a video for you to watch of how the sling would actually work. It is crazy. But Charles, you also, I was gonna say, to also add this, there was one other thing you forgot to add in your explanation.
So gave David the armor. David gave it back. I didn't prove myself in it.
What was his reason for giving it back?
I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. As in, I haven't proven myself in the armor and sword you tried to give me.
No, not just that. That's too specific. Think about what he's saying, word for word. He didn't say, I have not proved myself in them, did he?
for I have not proved them. So I haven't tried it out. I haven't tested it. I haven't worked with that as my weapon. That's not my weapon of choice, in other words.
Yes and no. That's one possible way of taking it. Not my weapon of choice is one possible way. What's another way you can take it?
The other way I'm thinking about it is I don't know how to use this stuff.
No, that'd still be testing yourself. Remember, I have not proved them. You should focus on the individual. Focus on the weapons themselves and the armor. There's a very big lesson for us.
I have not proved them.
Yemi, go ahead and give it a shot. What do you think it means by I have not proved them? Yemi, you got to unmute yourself. Yemi. You got to click the microphone looking thing.
All right, hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
So he got offered another weapon, and he politely asked, he politely told them that that was not his weapon of choice.
What Charles said. What's another possible reason that I have not proved them?
He was not confident because I think he didn't have that experience. He was just not comfortable. After
So I tell you what, you both answers that Charles said. Again, you guys are too focused on the person and not on the words of the person spoke. He said, I have not proved them. Not I have not proved myself with them. So I'll give the answer. The answer is, the other possibility is that I haven't tested these weapons to see if they're actually worthwhile. Charles, would you bring a gun into a fight if you don't know if it's gonna jam on you or not?
No, I wouldn't bring it unless it was like, last resort thing. I wouldn't think about bringing it to the fight.
Exactly. Yemi, would you bring a bulletproof vest if you don't know if it's been tested against bullets to see if it actually stops them?
No.
So that's the part you guys are forgetting. I have not proved them. Yes, it could be that I don't know how well I'll do with them. It's not my weapon of choice. That's one possible. But the other possibility is that I didn't test these weapons to see if they're good quality or not. I can't go into battle with something I don't know how good it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he didn't have the confidence. He didn't have the confidence. He didn't have the experience with that.
Well, no, not confidence. It's not
experience.
Confidence. No, not even experience. Because he could be very experienced in a sword and shield and spear. And especially if he's very experienced. If you know how to handle a sword, are you going to go into a battle with a sword that's untested?
No.
No, and why not?
I mean, it hasn't been tested. It just hasn't been tested. Chances are a lot less.
What's the consequences? Because it hasn't been tested. What's the possible consequence? Do you not know? You hear me? I think you muted yourself again. Yeah, you muted yourself again. You got to click that microphone again. You know what, Charles? Go ahead and answer. What's the possible consequences of going into battle with an untested sword and shield and armor?
It'll break down. It'll break down. But go ahead, Yemi. Go ahead and say your answer.
I'm sorry, I'm having some technical issues right here, guys.
Okay. So the possible consequences, like Charles just said, is that it might break on you. If you haven't tested a sword, you don't know if it's too heavy on the bottom and too light on the top. You don't know if it's hollow on the inside. You don't know how sturdy it is. And if it's a shield or armor, you don't know how much it could withstand. What if you have a shield that's supposed to block from a sword, but it's so flimsy and so untested that the sword cuts right through the shield? When you go into battle with a shield, you're leaning on that shield for defense. And so if the shield, for example, is so light and so weak, then the sword could break right through it and you would die.
Right.
So there's two parts. One is experience, true. But the other is, he doesn't know if those weapons and stuff are actually going to be durable because he hasn't tested them. And we're talking about Goliath, who, as we read last time, his armor and spear and everything, he's carrying about 125 pounds. I mean, the head of his spear alone was 15 pounds. You know how strong that spearhead has to be 15 pounds of weight? Just the spearhead, not even the rest of the spear. So if he goes into battle with something that's untested, he could die. And this also goes into two lessons from it. One, know the tools that you have and make sure your tools you have are ready for the situation you're trying to go into. Preparation.
Preparation.
That's one part. And here's the second part. Just because you have a belief in God does not mean that you have to take things that are given to you and trust that that's God giving it to you. You have to use your head. David knew that these were untested for him. He didn't know how good or bad they were. And he knows how he is with a sling. So through his experience and his knowledge level, he knew this is not a smart idea. Why would I sit here and take some armor given to me, even if I have faith in God? Why would I take that armor not knowing if it's going to be worthwhile? Walking by faith does not mean being stupid. Walking by faith means working towards the things that you want, believing that God has your back. So if you're going to a job interview, for example, to work in a business that's on the private sector, not hard working as in like manual labor, but they work in the office. You can have all the faith in God you want. Are you going to go into that job interview in baggy jeans and a t-shirt, Yemi?
No, you don't want the job.
Exactly. But
you don't want to win. You don't want to win. If you go to battle, if you go to battle and prepare, you don't want to win. You're setting up yourself for suicide.
Exactly. But Charles, I have faith I'm going to get this job regardless of how I dress.
You're setting up yourself for failure.
Yeah, good luck with that.
See, there's a difference between having faith in God and tempting God or trying to play with God. Somebody ready for you on Monday? Thank you. All right, so I guess they're waiting for me to get the paperwork. Anyway, so yeah, the two lessons here are: one, prepare for the things that you want, and two, faith does not mean that you make stupid decisions. It means that you work towards the things that you want to have. So if you're wanting to have a wife, yet you're dressing like a bum, are you working towards the things that you want, Yemi?
No, you're just going to get the same return.
Exactly. And Charles, if you want a business, but you never save your money, are you working towards the things you want? Are you walking by faith?
No,
No,
probably
you're
not.
not walking by faith.
Exactly. I've known, and you guys may not have dealt with this yet, but I've known in my personal life people that equate walking in blind faith in situations you don't need to with walking by faith in general. For example, they'll sit here and say, okay, I'm going to go over to this area and I'm going to start a church building. I'm going to buy the building and God will bring the people. They never go door knocking. They never try to pray to people. They never try to talk to people. They never try to set up events where they could have people come through for fun and enjoyment. They never bring out Bible studies. But God will bring the people here. You're not walking by faith. You're lying. If you were truly walking by faith, you would be working towards the thing you want. Now, there is a certain level of blind faith that is involved in faith, like with Abraham, with being willing to sacrifice Isaac in that moment that he was required to. And God spared him anyways, right? But there are a lot of times where walking by faith means working towards the thing you want and using your head. And we can't forget, walking by faith is just working towards the things you want, making moves. Can I sit here and say, Charles, that I really want a wife if I don't even try to get myself to the level of the kind of wife I want?
You can't. Oh, I was already unmuted. No, you can't.
Exactly. So I can't sit here and say I'm walking by faith when the entire time I'm acting as if I don't believe. That's not walking by faith. That's walking in falsehood. Now, if you don't have an option and you still got to work towards something, that's one thing. But when you have the ability to work towards it in a realistic way, anything less than that is complete and utter falsehood. All right. Now, that's the end of the study today. Since there's only 3 of us, Yemi, is there anything you want to say before we end the Bible study?
No, not at all. Just, wishing you guys the best out there. And that's very important what you say, saving money for times, because at the end of the day, he wants us to be prepared, just like David was. He also wants us to respect our hard work and to make the most out of it. So I guess that's a good point, about saving money.
Exactly.
Be prepared, just so you can be prepared for any situation.
Exactly. All right. Well, now then, Charles, is there anything you want to add or say before we pray it out?
No. Yemi, I will say this. Yemi, I'm glad you are on for the Friday Bible study. You're on a good point too, because we're talking about David and Goliath, which is Matt's been me and Matt.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to get to this for a minute now.
Yeah, right on. I know. This is a good one too. I'm very interested in going back and read all of this, guys.
Exactly. All right, then I'll go ahead and let me go ahead and I'll mute myself because I'm still dealing with this. And then Charles, you can go ahead and pray us out so you guys don't hear the background noise.
All right, everybody. Anybody listening, follow along the video. Bow your head if you can. I'll give it a couple seconds. All right. Father, thank you for having Yemi on the study, for a good study to talk about David's situation, to show his faith in you, and to show the faith that we must all have in you, Lord. Yemi, Matt, me, and everyone listening and watching, everyone on the planet, every human being on the planet Earth must show that same faith towards you, Lord. And I pray that you continue to work your way in our lives. I pray that you work your way in the Yemi's life to help him with whatever situations he got going on, and to make sure that he can take care of the things that need to be taken care of with ease, to make sure that Matt is able to take care of the things he needs to take care of with ease. I pray that we also end Friday on a good note and be able to wake up tomorrow ready to do another study. In Jesus' name, amen.
And it's James and amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. Thanks everybody for being on, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.
All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow, guys. Thank you for everything. Enjoy your Friday, guys. Happy Friday.
Yeah, you too. Peace.
All right, Charles.